Hi, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to 2020 Biodata World. We wish we were in Basel this year, but it is a global pandemic. Welcome. What you're going to hear today is you're going to hear a little bit about who Cloudera is for those of you who don't know us. We're going to learn a little bit about Cloudera in life sciences. We're going to learn about one of our biggest healthcare and life sciences customers and partners, IQVIA. And then you're going to hear from Mark Ramsey about what's happening at a top 5 pharma and how the applications of data and analytics at a top 5 pharma. Let's get started. The standard disclaimer slide. I'm going to pause for a second. Okay, why don't we start with some introductions, Mark? So a little bit about myself, Abbas Mooraj. I'm based out of Boston. I am the global healthcare leader at Cloudera for our 200 healthcare and life sciences clients. We serve almost the entire healthcare ecosystem and proud to do it. I've spent the last 20 years in the healthcare and life sciences industry and looking to make a further impact in the industry. Mark, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Mark Ramsey. I'm the managing partner of a consulting and services firm that focuses on delivering large-scale data and analytics solutions. I've been the chief data officer for GlaxoSmithKline. Prior to that, I was the chief data officer for Samsung Mobile. And then prior to that, I've spent about 25 years in the consulting and services industry, helping a wide variety of industries implement and deliver the value of using data as a strategic asset.
Good stuff. So a little bit about Cloudera. We actually merged about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years ago now, with our biggest competitor, which was Hortonworks. We are a global company, and we've been around for 12 plus years. We have about 30 plus Apache open source projects that we manage and build. We build one product, that's a Cloudera data platform, which is an open source data platform. So I mentioned our strength in healthcare and life sciences. We serve just about the entire ecosystem with over 30 health plans or payers, about 50 health systems, the public sector ministries of health overseas, several leading consumer health and health IT companies such as IQVIA, who have built their platform, their modern data platforms on us. And of course, the topic of today's conversation really biopharma, medtech, and life sciences. We're one of the leaders in this space, in the data analytics and advanced analytics space. So what do we do? Right. So we as I mentioned, we create one open source data platform all the way from the acquisition and ingestion of data. So the collection of the data, the processing of the data, the storage, the serving of the data, and of course, most importantly, the insights, because without the insights, it's hard to change behavior from patients, from members, for pharma organizations. If you want to do digital virtual trials, synthetic controls, etc., the insights are what delivers value at the end of the day. But the underpinning of all of this is a common security and governance layer that is not stitched together. It's not thrown together. It's actually built. So it's an end-to-end data lifecycle that comes out of the box. It's got lineage and healthcare data provenance out of the box as well. So if you're dealing with the FDA or the EMA in Europe or the MHRA in the UK, it's common reporting, common auditing and lineage that's provided. So taking that and going one step deeper, think about any data at rest, which is batch data or data in motion, which comes from wearables, comes from remote patient monitoring, so biomedical devices, the bedside. All of this can be streamed real time, not near real time, real time. In fact, you can run analytics on the stream to send intelligence back to the point of care. All of this, of course, goes through the data lifecycle and goes through into the pharma and biopharma value chain. We serve everyone from basic science, preclinical, clinical trials, commercial, post-marketing surveillance, and even several medtech examples about the remote diagnostics, support, and repair for med devices, whether they're intelligent devices or dumb devices. In terms of our platform itself, it's one platform in two flavors. If you want a complete native cloud experience, we're actually in the AWS and Azure marketplaces, GCP coming soon. If you feel that you want an on-premise situation with control within your data center, we absolutely can do that too. But the beautiful thing about our platform is that our entire strategy is built around the hybrid multi-cloud. So we have a control plane that extends from the on-premise to the cloud so that you can control both if necessary. So one platform, two flavors. In terms of a deeper dive into the platform, I mentioned we're a true hybrid multi-cloud universe where we have the entire data lifecycle all the way from the ingestion of data, so that's data flow and streaming, all the way through machine learning, all sitting on our Cloudera runtime, which are our 30+ Apache open source projects. But the secret sauce is really Cloudera SDX, which creates that common metadata, that security, that governance across both the on-premise and the cloud world. So really, this is, in a nutshell, this is our platform. To summarize, this is, as I mentioned, any cloud. So whether you're on Azure, AWS, GCP coming soon, the full data lifecycle, secure and governed, and of course, open. Open is not just a philosophy for us. We're open architecture, we're open source, we're open API. Anything that you wanted to connect to us, we absolutely can do that as well. I'm going to talk a little bit about one of our largest customers and partners, IQVIA. They have built, everyone is familiar with IQVIA's dominance in the life sciences industry with respect to data as a service, insights as a service. But now they have a new offering, which is platform as a service, which is really taking data science to a new level and enabling even data science as a service to capture speed to value or time to value initiatives within your organizations. Think about their wealth of knowledge across data, analytics, insights, and consulting. They really taking their technology and expertise and with a platform as a service offering. The Human Data Science Cloud is built on Cloudera, enables in the R&D world, real world applications, genomics, commercial solutions, etc. And all of them are GXP compliant, HIPAA compliant, and high trust compliant. So whether you're developing a COVID vaccine, building on an RWE platform, or a clinical data repository, that's where IQVIA shines. I'm going to hand it off to Mark Ramsey now to walk you through what a real world application is at a top 5 pharma.
Great, thanks, Abbas. So I'm going to spend just a few minutes talking about a couple of case studies and give you a sense of really the impact that leveraging the Cloudera data platform can have. So just to step back a little bit, from a business perspective, there's a lot of drivers for why we see the implementation of new and modern data strategies within pharma organizations. Some of that is that traditionally pharma has been very low in the maturity of how to leverage data and analytics, and especially when it comes to leveraging cross or longitudinal looks at the data. So what I mean by that is being able to use clinical trial data to influence discovery of a new medicine. Certainly one of the other areas that is seeing a lot of focus now is the use of genetic information for target selection, target validation. So those kinds of things are really driving, and many of others that I'm not going to walk through. But a few years ago, I led the implementation of a on-premise traditional Cloudera solution for one of the top 10 pharma companies. And that solution was quite successful. In fact, it won the prestigious Strata Data Conference Award for building this platform in record time. And it took about a year and a half or 2 years to really get the platform up and progressing the way that this particular pharma needed. But ultimately, you can see some of the details here, petabytes of data across many, many different structured sources. But the focus was around those business use cases, like rationalizing thousands of clinical trial data into CDISC SDTM so that it could be used for influencing discovery, as well as creating a single data environment across all of R&D for preclinical data, clinical data, a lot of the scientific information, as well as real world data. And so this solution was quite successful, and it started, as this illustration shows, with the source data coming in from the left, creating a very foundational data lake of all of that information. And this is really all of the information within R&D, structured, unstructured, internal, external data, all coming together, and then being harmonized into a collection of data domains. So really the type of data that will be used to deliver against a number of business use cases. So again, we have that foundation into integrated data domains, and it's extremely important to have well-defined business use cases. And I've just listed a couple here that are pretty common these days in pharma. One is around the genetic analytics. One is around assay analytics, really understanding molecular design, candidate selection, reducing attrition. And then certainly the clinical data is a vast repository of data that is many times underutilized. And so really a solution like this really needs to bring all of that information together so that it can be used by the organization. Now, with the introduction of an enterprise data platform, like Abbas described, it's ready to make that next move, which is leveraging cloud, the separation of the compute capabilities and the storage, and then really vast scalability and elasticity, along with the ability to deliver on the promise of machine learning and AI in the pharma area. So we've just been working on a new effort with another top 10 pharma, this time being deployed on the Cloudera data platform. This particular client is using AWS, although as Abbas mentioned, this could be deployed on-prem or on Azure and coming soon on GCP. But what we were able to do here is really accelerate. So 18 months to 24 months for the first iteration was a good accomplishment, but now with this next opportunity, we've been able to accelerate that to be less than a year from the start of the program to the delivery of the first phase. Again, focused on preclinical data, clinical data, genomics data, and so forth. So that acceleration really comes from leveraging a common architecture. And so I'm not going to go into the details here, but really the most important part of this diagram is on the right-hand side, which are those solutions that deliver business value. So these would be things like real world data analytics, or being able to do genetic browsing and genetic analytics, or doing discovery and visualization on data, whether that data is preclinical or clinical data, as well as being able to create a very robust knowledge graph across both internal and external data in the organization. So this architecture has been developed directly on top of the Cloudera data platform. And then, like I mentioned, in the case of this particular case study, it's being done on AWS. But the nice thing is that that single control plane allows us to deploy this exact same solution at an enterprise level, hybrid multi-cloud. So it can be AWS, Azure, combinations, as well as private cloud if you have data that is extremely controlled, or the volumes are such that you don't want to move it into the cloud. We've been able to take advantage of a number of the CDP components together with cloud services. So you can see on this illustration, leveraging AWS S3 as the object store, so as the persistent storage layer, while also leveraging a number of the CDP components, ranging from the very, very robust data engineering capability into the discovery capability, and then certainly the machine learning being an elastic Kubernetes-based capability gives you a really nice way to collaborate and share machine learning models and actually deploy those models into production. So all of those things come together from the Cloudera perspective, and then integrated together with other components really deliver this full solution. And when I talk about a full solution, it's starting with the data, creating discovery of the source data, the pipelines, the ingestion, the harmonization of both structured and unstructured, really to be able to deliver on those use cases. And so I guess to summarize is that bringing all this data together in a pharmaceutical company is extremely important. Doing it on-prem can be done, but doing it with the new CDP has really accelerated, going from multiple months, multiple years down to less than a year. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Abbas.
Thanks, Mark. That was very insightful. I wanted to thank everyone for listening to us. I'm going to open it up for live Q&A right now.